a house in New Orleans. They call the rising sun, and it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. I know I won.
Why didn't you save me, Dexxy? You were my boyfriend, and I thought you loved me, and you didn't save me. Aw, what's wrong, Dexxy? Are you sad, or are you scared? I can smell that fear. Why didn't you save me, Dexxy? I thought you loved me. Why didn't you save me? Look at me now. Look at me. This is all because of you. It's your fault.
Hey y'all, welcome to Lumberjillville. Women's wrestling lives here. Now we are officially in October, but I have a horrible feeling that Jill-O-Ween has already begun because there's some weird things going on in Lumberjillville and I don't know what to make of it. I really hope co-mayor Alexa comes back home wherever she went. And I really hope someone out there finds Queen Diva Marie safe and okay, because we miss her. We've put up these missing posters all over the town, all over the city, and we haven't heard anything yet. So please, if you see Queen Diva Marie, let us know. But either way, I am really hoping more women's wrestling figures come to Lumberjillville to distract my mind for a little bit while I'm dealing with everything going on. And I am happy today to have the WrestleMania Elite Bianca Belair with me so I can open it up and review it and really distract myself. So without further ado, let's take a closer look at this Bianca figure. Alright, so starting out with the packaging, I love how this looks. Now, yes, it is the same overall design as the Elite mainline. What I mean by that is the shape of the package, the limited window size, and also, yes, that cheap, flimsy cardboard. But because it is a separate line than the Elite mainline, this is the WrestleMania Elite line. Aesthetically, it's very different, and I love, love, love these uniquely designed packages for these kind of separate lines, as like the SummerSlam line or Survivor Series, or in this case, the WrestleMania Elite line, and this is celebrating the upcoming WrestleMania in Vegas, and I just love how this looks. I really do. Now, obviously, here we have an image of the beautiful, stunning, and talented Bianca Belair, and behind her we have this little kind of LED looking light pattern. It looks great. We have two red neon lines coming down separating the image from the figure itself. And yes, we have that limited window size, but because it's the same overall design approach, I guess you could say, that's just what we get. And actually in this instance, I don't mind it. Now the main reason being, if you look at the front here, below the WrestleMania Vegas logo, Build-A-Figure Howard Finkel. So we get a Build-A-Figure Howard Finkel piece, so I don't see it. Where is it? It's hidden, y'all. Look, there's a little bald man head down there. That's Howard Finkel's head, and that makes me so happy because that's such an eyesore, especially for MOC collectors, to display a figure with a pair of random legs or random torso or random head on full display. So I do like that it's kind of tucked out of the way, kind of hidden. I think that's great. But in my opinion, this is kind of an eyesore, but I get that they have to promote that they have this in the package, so it is what it is. I'd much rather have this on the front of the package and have that part hidden than to not have that and have the part in full sight. So I think that's okay. I do like how it's tucked away. Now, this package, as I mentioned, the imaging is very different. Now, we have blue lines going underneath her name there, and if you look at her background, we will take that insert out and see what it looks like. But yeah, this is promoting the upcoming WrestleMania in Vegas. On the side we have Bianca looking great. On the other side we have her name. We also have a little WWE authentic seal, in case you were wondering. And on the back here it says the EST of WWE was ready for Asuka at WrestleMania 39, where she walked away victorious as the Raw Women's Champion. Yeah, and then we have her height. We have where she's from, Knoxville, Tennessee, my hometown here where I live, and her finisher, which is very, very cool. So, yeah, I think this looks great. Now, we have the rest of the line there on the back, and we also have that Build-A-Figure, and as you can see, his head is outlined in red because we get Howard's head here. Howard's head, that sounded very weird. But Bianca herself looks really cool displayed in the package with the title over her shoulder, the sunglasses on. Looks like she's got earrings in there, and then we got some extra hands. So let's open it up, and I'm actually just going to slide out this back insert, and then I'm going to open it up off camera because it's just noisy and not a lot of fun. So this insert, look at this. I have to keep this. This is absolutely amazing, and yeah, this is super, super cool. I love this little backdrop insert here. Unique, and boy, it definitely gives that WWE WrestleMania in Vegas aesthetic. Now, let me open up this figure and let's take a closer look. WWE 2024 WrestleMania Elite Series Bianca Belair. This attire is from WrestleMania 39 Night 2, which took place on April 2nd, 2023 from California. On this night, Bianca would defeat Asuka to retain the WWE Raw Women's Championship. So my overall first impressions, I'm just going to get this out of the way, alright? I think the figure looks cool, don't get me wrong. I love Bianca, but that's why I'm so frustrated, because Mattel continues to drop the ball as far as Bianca's chest and midsection torso pieces. I mean, the sculpting is way undersized, and it's been like that for all of Bianca's figures. You know, some of her main event figures can get away with it, but as far as her elite figures especially, they give her like this dainty little waist, and Bianca is this very strong, powerful, muscular woman with a great physique, and they haven't translated that to figure form. And I think what makes me so frustrated is we see Mattel make these corrections and changes. For example, Solo Sikoa's first elite was way undersized. They fixed it and released an updated torso unique to him like 2 series later, I think, and that to me is absolutely ridiculous, because Bianca is a beacon of light in that WWE Women's division. And if there's anyone that they can put on a pedestal for merchandise, for whatever, it's her. It's her. And I am so frustrated that we continue to get undersized torso pieces on Bianca that just don't simulate Bianca's physique. And we just now started to get Rhea Ripley with her muscular physique. But, for example, go look at the upcoming Zoe Stark Elite. And look at that midsection. That would be perfect on Bianca. Okay, so we'll cover it in detail when we take a closer look at the body sculpting, the attire. But yeah, I'm frustrated for that reason. But to put the negativity aside for now, I think this figure does look cool. It comes with some cool accessories. Let's get this out of the way. Howard Finkel build a figurehead. All right, there it is. See ya. And no, I'm not going to put the Howard Finkel head on Bianca's body because I am trying to sleep tonight. And as of this recording, we are at the beginning of October, and I don't know if my little fearful heart can take that. So she comes with semi-grasping hands. She also comes with 2 pairs of extra hands. 1 pair are open, and the other pair are fist. Now, we also have a lot of little neat knickknacks here we're going to get to. We have these cool sunglasses that look cool. They are black with like a gold rim to them. Take those off. Okay, not bad, not bad. Same as the Ultimate Edition Face Sculpt and Scan. And then we also have these earrings, which are removable. And they're like a black color, kind of like a matte black color. But they look pretty good. And then, obviously, out of all the accessories, I think what really stands out here is this WWE Raw Women's Championship. It is that smaller scale that looks way better with the women's figures. And we have custom Bianca Belair side plates. Now, it is very intricately designed, and it might not be picking up on camera, but it does look really good in person. And yeah, I really do like this title. I think it looks great. So with all the extra goodies aside, let's take a closer look at this figure, starting with the face sculpt, face scan, and hair sculpt. As far as the face sculpt, face scan, and hair sculpt goes, this is pretty much the exact same head that they used on the Ultimate Edition Series 19 Bianca Belair, which all of you residents of Lumberjillville voted that figure as the best women's wrestling figure of 2024 at the Jilly's Award Show this past year. And even though I personally didn't think it was the best figure of the year, all of y'all voted it, and that's why it won. And it is an excellent Ultimate Edition figure. We will compare this one to that one later. And I think the sculpt and scan works nicely. Is it a spot-on, picture-perfect replication of Bianca's face? I don't think it is, but I think it works really well. And I actually really, really love the emotion, how it's smiling. I think it looks really good. And look at the lipstick detail. I think that is amazing. It's going to be really hard to see on camera here, but it's like a glittery, glossy look, and it looks awesome. I love the detail they put into the lipstick. And I actually love the expression at Bianca. She's so happy and bubbly and a hashtag forever babyface, right? So I love that they did use this sculpt and scan. And as I mentioned, I don't think it's necessarily spot on, but I do think it's better than a lot of previous sculpts and scans they've used on Bianca, so I'm perfectly okay with it. Now, the hair sculpt is the same as that head that came with the Ultimate Edition. We have these black little strands of hair coming down, which look great. And we have her long braid, and it is a thicker, high-quality braid, which I love, and I'll show you later in the review how her previous elites had this real dainty, thin braid, and it drove me nuts. It wasn't good. Not a good choice in my opinion. And a lot of her basic figures had the thicker braid. Well, the Ultimate Edition fixed that. We had a thicker braid on that. And here we have very nice, very good looking braid. Now, it would be nice if we got some deco in the braid, like a little glitter here and there, kind of like how she wears it or how she wore it this night. We didn't get that. And then these earrings, if you look closely, I guess they're like a black, colorblind Mayor Aaron over here. They're like a blackish brown type color. They look good, I will say that. So yeah, as far as the face sculpt, face scan, and hair sculpt goes, I think they're really good. I like them a lot. Alright, as far as the body sculpt and attire goes, this is where I have some gripes. So, as I previously mentioned, I believe that midsection and even the upper body are way too undersized. However, I will say this figure, out of her previous elites and even the Ultimate Edition, is better. And I think it's because they have this sculpted on gear to where it kind of covers up the midsection that was way too small before. Let me show real quick. Here's Elite Series 91, and it's tiny, way undersized. You can see, like, her ribs. Like, I don't know why they thought this was a good choice. I'm thinking just because it fit with that top piece, they just said, you know what, we're just going to do it. But here it's a little frustrating because this midsection and this top are uniquely sculpted pieces. So why couldn't they give her these bottoms that were maybe a little wider that would have fit a new midsection and a new chest piece just for her? You know, it's really frustrating. But here on this figure, it is kind of covered up because there's not an exposed midsection. So even though it might not be noticeable to the naked eye, when you look at it up close, you can tell that it's way too dainty, too undersized. You know, like I said, she's very muscular, has a great physique, and Mattel drops the ball as far as her midsection goes. Now, another complaint that I do have is this black design, and we will zoom into it in a little bit here, this black design on her attire and this red. They should be glittery, and the least they could have done is use like a metallic black paint and a metallic red on the top, something to make it look and really pop like her attire actually looks like. I think that would have been great. I think they do an okay job here of giving it detail, but I think a big detail that they're missing is that shine and glitter, honestly. Now, as far as the rest of the body part choices, I'm okay with the arms. The arms are okay. Maybe could be a little more muscular, but I think they work okay. And the legs look great. I will say that. I will have some positivity to the body sculpt. I think the legs look awesome. They're muscular. There's so much design going on there. And yeah, I think they work really well. So taking a closer look at the attire itself, you can see that, as I mentioned, that chest piece here and the midsection, even the bottoms, are all like a sculpted design here that you can really feel. It's got a texture to it, right? And it is very similar to what she wore that night. The only thing it's really missing is kind of the glitter, the shine. But I think the sculpting detail here is superb. I think it's great. I love this star on the top with her name Bianca Belair. And yes, that is sculpted too with the lips in gold. We have these gold straps sculpted on there. This color going around her neck is sculpted. It even has the little tie sculpted in the back. That's a great little additional detail. And as I mentioned, this midsection piece here going on down to the bottoms is sculpted on with that texture. We have gold lips all throughout and a gold trim around the bottoms there. We even have some sculpted lines on the back of the attire. Now the arms are all painted on detail, but they look really, really good with gold on the top, kind of an off gold in the back, looking like a see-through type material. We have red stars with a black outline, gold lips, gold trim. It looks really cool. Moving on down, we have these gold lines with gold lips on her legs going around the back. They look awesome. The knee pads are that hard material, and they're black with the gold design and EST on them. And then her boots are a metallic type gold, so her boots do look pretty good. So yeah, I think the attire really stands out and pops, and I love it, but I just can't get past the fact that Mattel continues to not give her the proper midsection and chest and give her physique. You know, they've even corrected Rhea Ripley over the years to where her most recent Elite looks pretty dang spot on to Rhea. It looks good. It's muscular, and they haven't done that with Bianca, and I think that's a dang shame because Bianca to me is one of the biggest stars in the company. But yeah, with that rant aside, I think the attire aesthetically does really stand out and it looks really neat. Alright, so I do have all of Bianca Belair's figures. She's actually had quite a few, which is awesome. But I wanted to put some notable ones up here to compare to today's. So on the far left, we have her most recent Basic, Series 141, released in 2023. And then we have her last Elite, which is Series 91, released in 2022 in the blue there. Then we have her Ultimate Edition Series 19, released in 2023 in the orange and yellow. And then obviously we have today's Wrestlemania Elite. Now, I will say, if you're trying to find one Bianca for your collection, you want the best Bianca Belair figure, it's the Ultimate Edition, hands down, bar none. It wasn't even a hard decision for me. I thought it was going to be, but the Ultimate Edition is the best. You know, I think it's excellent, and I love that she actually comes with an alternate head, but she comes with this red fuzzy jacket. It's just by far the best Bianca, in my opinion. Now, the reason I have these other ones, I wanted to show you, so the basic style braid that they use on her basic figures, or her main event figures, I guess you could say, it is a thicker, more realistic type braid to what she actually has. In Elite Series 91, so her last Elite that came out, as you can see, her braid is tiny. It's like a shoelace. It's way too thin. And the update they made with the Ultimate Edition and then today's is it's a thickness kind of between the basic and the Elite. So I think it works really, really well. It definitely looks better than that last Elite. And as you can see, this Elite Series 91, I think I might have liked this sculpt and scan when I reviewed the figure, and from some angles it looks like Bianca, and from some angles it's kind of horrifying, you know? I think someone pointed out how she has like a LeBron James hairline on this figure, like her hairline's way back there, and that I can't unsee it, so that really took that away for me. But I think when this figure came out, it was really cool. Obviously, the biggest detriment to this figure was that torso. It's way too tiny, and if you look at this is what drove me nuts when I reviewed this figure, is the midsection doesn't even fit on this lower body piece, so this crotch piece, I guess you could say. Like, this piece here is meant to have a thicker torso, and they're like, nah, it's okay, we have this upper body sculpted already narrow enough to fit it, so we're just going to use it, and that's just lazy. Just lazy. But this is a cool Elite. I'm not going to lie. I really do like that Elite. But as I mentioned, I think Bianca's best figure comes down to these two. Now, I will say that I think the Ultimate Edition arms are much more muscular. I couldn't tell, and I think it's because of the design of these sleeves on the new Elite. But if you look at the arms, they are actually a little bit thicker, more muscular, even her forearms on that Ultimate Edition, so they're a lot more lifelike and just better in my opinion. So I didn't notice that when I was looking at this figure by itself, because I don't think it's a big detriment to this figure that the arms might be a little small. It's not that noticeable because of sleeves. But yeah, this Ultimate Edition is just amazing. I mean, even though I honestly cannot stand this undersized torso, I think we've talked about that enough today. So if we're going to say which Bianca figure is the best, in my opinion, it's definitely that Ultimate Edition. I think this WrestleMania one takes a close second or third place, but I definitely think Ultimate Edition is a queen. Alright, you know what? Let's cover articulation. I don't always do that, but why not? We're here. The head actually has really good movement here because we don't have a long sculpt that we have in most women's figures, so we have pretty good movement all around here. The shoulders on a ball joint can move in all different directions. We have an upper arm swivel, double jointed elbows that can really flex. We have a wrist that can swivel. It can also extend up and flex down. We have the upper torso swivel, which is very tight, but it does move okay. We have a waist swivel. Hip is on a ball joint, can move in all different directions. We have an upper thigh swivel. Knee is double jointed, but these knee pads aren't exactly the stretchiest, so it bends about 90 degrees. I wouldn't force it. We have an upper boot swivel there, maybe. Hold on. Yep, we have an upper boot swivel. And then the feet can go down, plantar flex and dorsiflex up. I don't think they can rock. They can rock a little bit side to side, so we do have Elite style feet there. So overall, I give WWE WrestleMania 2024 Elite Bianca Belair an overall score of a 6.5 out of 10. And I know that's probably a lot lower than a lot of you out there that are familiar with my reviews expected, because I tend to really find the good and the great in these women's wrestling figures. But there are some flaws with this figure that really bother me. Now, I will say it is above average. I think it's a very cool figure. I think it looks really cool to the eye. I think it looks great on display. And I love Bianca. She's one of my favorite superstars. However, I think this figure falls short in a lot of different categories. I do think that we haven't gotten that perfect Bianca face sculpt and scan, and I really wish after all these years they would deliver, right? They still haven't done it, and to just reuse the Ultimate Edition head is a bit lazy. Now, speaking of lazy, let's talk about the attire. So yes, it has some sculpted detail, which is nice, but the fact that it doesn't have the glittery appearance that it did in real life is a head scratcher, because they could have at least used a metallic paint or something to make it look a lot more like Bianca's gear, which she makes, by the way. Now, the number one thing that took the most amount of points off is the sculpt. The legs are great. The arms, upon further review in comparison to the Ultimate Edition, the arms are undersized. Not a big difference. but I'm talking about the midsection and the chest. And what I mean by that is she should have broader shoulders like the Rhea Ripley Elite, for example. And her midsection should be muscular. I mean, look at Rhea's past Elite, look at the upcoming Zoe, and that just makes me beg the question, why and how has Bianca Belair not been done properly? As I mentioned, they fixed Solo Sikoa in 3 Elite series, and Bianca is still being used with this undersized, not accurate torso and midsection, and it kind of makes me mad. I feel like whoever designed this figure, and whoever designs most of the women's wrestling figures, don't even know the superstar. They maybe saw a couple images, a couple reference shots, and they're like, okay, let's make the figure. They don't know that Bianca's a strong, muscular woman. They don't know the amount of work she puts into her gear, and it shows when the figure comes out. It really does, and that's frustrating. They need somebody in Mattel that puts the attention and care and detail into the women's wrestling figures that they deserve. And quite frankly, I don't think they have anyone in the company that does that, and that sucks. It really does. Now, I will say the upcoming Kyrie looks like maybe the best Elite of all time. The past Kyrie, amazing. Io Shirai past Elites were amazing. So there are some women's wrestling figure outliers that I think Bill McKenna has a say in, and those turn out really good. But for the most part, a lot of these women's wrestling figure Elites, they leave a lot to be desired. And there are some head-scratching decisions that there's just no excuse for at this point. Especially in Bianca. She's been with the company for years. She's a huge star. And yeah, that's why it got a lower score than probably a lot of people expected. And a lot lower than I expected, because there's just no excuse for that. And in my opinion, there's a better Bianca Belair figure out there, and that's the Ultimate Edition. So I really don't see a reason to pick up this Bianca for any reason whatsoever, unless you collect Bianca, I guess. I mean, that'd be a reason, but otherwise, yeah, just stick to the Ultimate Edition until Mattel gets their crap together and actually gives her an accurate figure. Thanks for stopping by Lumberjillville. Women's wrestling lives here. To get a first look at all future women's wrestling figure reviews, make sure to hit subscribe and become an official resident of LJV today. Also, head on over to ringsidecollectibles.com and use coupon code LJV at checkout to save 10% on your next order of women's wrestling figures. Now stay tuned, I have the Elite Greatest Hits 6 Natty, both the regular and the Chase version review coming out very soon, and there are more, and I mean tons more, women's wrestling figure reviews and videos coming out all month. So with that being said, thank you for watching, and have a great night, y'all.